Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our new gaming segment, Retro Game Crush.
And this is where we show you all the games that we really love to play on different systems, why we love them so much, and we recommend them to you if you haven't already.
And as you can tell from the name, they are older games that are still fun to play.
Yes. So for this one, we are covering one of our most favorite games, Guilty Party.
Guilty Party. Guilty Party. And this super fun party game centers around the Dickens Family Detective Agency as you play any members of the group and you work together to stop the Commodore's greatest enemy, Mr. Valentine. Yes, he has a head like a heart.
Yes.
From committing dastardly plots.
Yes. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification button on future podcasts and Little Pause videos.
Absolutely. We thought this would be so fun to do and share some more things with you that we love and that are a part of our lives and have been a part of our lives for some time. And we know that sometimes when people get new gaming systems, they sell the old ones or they give them away. Well, unfortunately, for people in this family, we don't do that.
Yeah.
We keep them until they self-destruct like the Xbox, which we did have. And after sending it in for repairs 2 times, the 3rd time we tossed it. So this is one of the game systems that we still have. And all of these game systems were originally purchased for Rascal.
Yes.
So now you know she takes very good care of her things.
Yes. And for this game, we actually came upon it when Blockbuster was still around. And if you had Blockbuster, you know they also had a sort of mail-in thing where you could order different movies. If you couldn't get to the store, you could order movies and games, and they would send them to you by mail, and you could play them. You could either send them back or return them in store when you were able. It was just like a library just for the movies, and it was fantastic. And this was one game we found, I think Mom found online while we were looking for things to play together. And we played it one night. We absolutely loved it. And then we kept playing. We could play for hours every day until we actually beat the game. And loved it so much that Mom ended up buying it for me for my birthday one year.
Yes, I never seen anything like it. It's really fun. It evokes childhood memories of games, playing them on the board. But at the same time, when this came out, it was new. It was something fun. Family game, up to 4 players, I think. And it really, you get lost playing it. It's a lot of fun because the challenges change, and depending on the characters you choose, the way each mystery comes about is different.
Yes.
And so, yes, we end up having our own favorite characters, but we've played them all.
Yes. And there's different layers and levels to the game, ranging from when you start out new and they guide you through everything so you know how to play, and then it gets harder as it goes along, because there have been times that we actually lost a few times or couldn't get the right culprit, and it actually makes you think about your decisions before doing it. So if it's not just, oh, you just play the game and you follow through while everyone else does the work, you actually have to think of the answers, try your best at the games. You really are, as they say, put on your thinking cap for it.
The most unbelievable part of this is that it's a Disney game.
Yeah. And for a lot of Disney games, they'll have ones that are very standout, very unique, very creative, and then they'll have a lot of ones that are just really just bad, non-creative, they're ripping off something else, or they fade off to the wayside. But some of their biggest games like Epic Mickey, Disney Universe, and others have really taken off, and we're just stunned that Guilty Party never did, because it was something that didn't have to use already existing IP or Star Wars or Marvel. They made all new characters, all new setting, and made something unique.
So the great thing is we do have more than one Disney game, so you'll see more. We decided it would be fun to show you some gameplay.
Yes.
Now, if you ever think you want to see us play a full game of this one after you watch this video, let us know in the comments. But it's really a lot of fun. And if you have heard of Guilty Party or Disney Guilty Party, or you've played it, or you own it, please let us know in the comments below.
Yes.
What made you want it? Do you love it as much as we do? Tell us all about your experience.
Yes, it's definitely going to be something you will never forget, whether you play by yourself or with family.
And as I mentioned, she takes really great care of her things, so you can see in the picture that she still has the actual instruction booklet for every single game that she's ever owned.
Yep.
And the booklet really isn't helpful. It tells you a few steps to do, but you really have to play this game in order to get the full experience and learn how to move about.
I think because there's so many instructions to do, but it doesn't bombard you with stuff. It takes its time, and each time you get to something, it tells you how to do it, and it's easy things to remember. It's like a perfect learning game.
Absolutely. So we're not going to bombard you any longer with more talk about this game. Let's show you.
Yes. So let's play the footage,
and then we'll return to you after we're done.
Guilty Party. This is one of our absolute favorite ones to play all the time. This is about as much fun as the Rio game when we do it in summer.
And it's Disney.
Yes, they actually had a good and creative idea this time. And it's a shame because, you don't hear about this. I kind of wish they had done more like a sequel game or turned this into an animated series. Because when you play it, you could see this being a long mystery as a show or as a movie.
And we actually rented this at Blockbuster, that place of Dinosaur Time, and then bought it from GameStop.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're going to press start so you can see the intro.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna come up. When you press A and B, it actually begins you on picking a profile.
Oh.
So we actually gotta wait just a few more seconds. It's like a little animated intro in a way. It shows you the main cast.
I love the song.
Yeah. It's really catchy.
Mm-hmm.
And someone who made it doesn't really love these mystery type games and movies.
Party finds you. Guilty party.
I feel like maybe they're inspired by Clue when I think about it.
Guilty party. Guilty party. And here we go.
Valentine is unleashing his most villainous wrath yet. Mom said we can't have dinner unless we humor you.
Okay, that's just weird. Do not ask me to divulge my secret identity.
And these are some of the great characters. We kind of have our favorites we play all the time, right?
Yes. But you have at least 8 characters, I think, to choose from, so it's a pretty big selection.
And at one point, we've played them all.
Yes. At least one.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so now we'll choose our characters.
Yeah.
So
All
you
right.
go first as usual.
Alright.
So we're setting up.
As you can see, we already had 2 profiles made. One was when we finished the game the first time, and the second one was just to start all over. And then the options you have here is story mode, where you just play the game as is, different levels, and you find out who Valentine is. Party mode is a multiplayer selection where you get to choose any of the venues you've already visited, and you have a different mystery and clues each time, so it's always
Every
a different
single
mystery.
time. And that's the mode we always play.
Right.
So let's pick party mode.
And you guys have 2 players. You can play it by yourself, but I think the whole point of party mode is you have multiple people.
Duh.
Okay? I usually pick Max, because he has some of the best lines. It reminds me of some of the older detectives, like the ones in Batman the Animated Series.
And my remote, where is it?
And here, you pick Phoebe, right?
Yes, that's who I always pick.
And they have 3 options here to choose from depending on the difficulty. Rookie if you're just starting, Detective if you're getting the hang of it, and Super Sleuth if you've played it so much that you can get harder questions. And we always do Super Sleuth now. Okay? And you have 2 options. You can play together in cooperative mode as a team, or competitive where you're all against each other.
We've done both, but we like cooperative the most. It's the most fun.
Yes.
And the games run pretty long, actually.
Yeah. You do have a limit, but it makes sure you play enough. Here you can click either episode from when you play story mode. If you end up playing party mode before you finish, you might not have a lot of selections, so you might want to finish the game before going here. So you can pick whatever you want. And then the random, you can just have the game choose for you. So just for today, we'll pick the aquarium.
And sometimes we choose the option where it's random.
Right.
And we don't know exactly what we're going to get.
And then you have the difficulty. Elementary, where it's just nice and easy and pretty short. Tricky is like the medium of this. Diabolical is when it's pretty hard and you have to really think about who you're choosing. And the options usually go on here. You can click on how long you want to turn to last. If you run out of time, then it goes to the next player and you save your tokens. Tokens are used to move from room to room or to interrogate somebody. And you can turn on or off if you want to spend a token on using those moves. Hidden rewards is you will click around the screen in a certain area and you can find hidden coins or cards. You can choose how long you want the game to be. The standard is 20, but you can have it go on pretty long, up to no turn limit, and you can just go as long until you finish. And hint cost just means it'll probably cost you a token to get a hint from the Commodore.
Now you see this moving is because I'm actually holding the camera. I forgot to put the tripod up. So you'll probably have to pause this at some point when it's time for my turn.
Right.
And we're just going to give you an idea of what it's like to play the game.
Right.
Show you some screenshots. But this is definitely one of those great retro game crush games that we definitely wanted to cover.
Right.
Because this is actually definitely one of Rascal's, I would say, top 3 favorite games of all time on the Wii system.
Absolutely. So now we're done. You press OK.
This is the Wii, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I don't even know they had it on other systems. We've always seen it on Wii. So once you're sure everything's ready, you press go and it will start.
So to understand why I was asking, and I'm possibly confused because we have a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 2, 3, Wii, GameCube, what else do you have?
I think it's all the systems.
You also have the Game Boy, not the original, but the
flip one.
Right.
Alright, so here you go.
And at one point we had Xbox, but it kept having to be sent for repairs, and after the 3rd time we just said no and threw it away.
Right. So for here you get a mention of the Commodore, and you kind of get this every time. It says aquarium is home to many exotic and dangerous creatures, and one of them is a criminal. Would you like to review the cooperative rules? Now we played this many times, so we just press play. But this is sort of like a tutorial, like just in case you haven't played in a while and you forgot, then you can do that. Or if you have people over, this will do a tutorial as you're playing, so you don't have to go through a whole lot. You select a card to who goes first. It's supposed to be a mix-up, but you can kind of figure out who gets what.
Oh, really?
It's only 2. It's harder when there's more than 2 people. So you pick a card, any card here. And they're called savvy cards, and they all have different power-ups and things you can use to solve the mystery.
So I'm going to get closer so you can see more of the action on the screen.
And you see this question mark here on this character. They're usually a suspect, and you have to click on them to interrogate them. And these things here are for cyber.
It's a profile.
Yeah, it's a profile, and you use these to narrow down who's the guilty party from descriptions they give you when you interrogate them.
And they've got some really fun characters, as you can see from the designs. They each have their own personalities and their own profiles, and their own identities,
Yeah.
and they don't come up in every game. All the characters don't appear in every game, so
Yeah, it's a mixture.
depending on the venue, you get certain characters.
Yes.
But again, the mystery itself is always different,
Right.
even if the characters aren't different sometimes.
Right. So we press interrogate. And for here, you have to do a mini game, and it varies every time you play with different characters. And if you win the interrogation, they give you a clue, and you add up all the clues to figure out who the guilty party is. So for this one, it says pump up the muscles. That's a weird one to do, but yes, and you have to move the remote up a little bit, like you're almost like you're flexing. You gotta move the remote up and down, and then press A when you get up there. It doesn't matter if the character's male or female looking or doing the arm thing. It's the same either way.
Right.
And you get savvy points for.
Right.
So here you get savvy points. There's 30 if you get it pretty quickly, 20 if you take a little time, and 10 if you just freaking make it. And here you get the clue from the person. Okay, so for here we have the clue, and each character has a different clue each time, and they give you something that could be either proven as an alibi, prove that they weren't there, or they know about someone who is, and give you a clue on how the real culprit looks. And these ones in blue, you test to see if what they say is true or false. And it's only the stuff in blue. So if they're saying the truth, you can add them to either guilty or not guilty. So since she did not commit the crime, we go over here to the notebook and cross her out. First, you already taken someone out in the first try. And here you can navigate throughout the aquarium. This will be in every level. And the question marks are the clues. Either over a person you have to interrogate, or they're physical clues that you have to play another mini game to collect. Investigate a towel. Yes, you have to play a game to get a towel. It is different evidence, different things. It's always different each time, so you never play the same game twice in a row. Here you have to dust for clues. You just shake the remote back and forth a little bit as if you're dusting, like Levi Ackerman, and get rid of all the filth.
It's not clean enough.
and also make sure you try to take a while. Sometimes the dirt will come back, or it'll undo itself to make you do it longer. So over here it says the tag reads extra soft for bony bathers, which means that the person is skinny. And we're only going by what they have for the game, so anything they use as a clue, please know this was just for the game specifically, is meant to be for fun.
And the time when it was made, exactly.
It was 2010, so that's all it was meant to be, just fun ways to get the description.
Right.
Now when you're out of tokens, you either can try one of your savvy cards, only have 2, so when we do in there, or you can go next player. And the timer lets you know when you're beginning to run out of time on your turn.
So the next player is me.
Yes. It's the guilty party will escape in 19 turns. That's how many turns you have left until the game's over.
So we're going to switch here, let you see my character play, and then we'll talk a little more about the game itself.
Yes.
Recording?
Yep.
Alright, I'm going to pick the center card, which I usually do. Locksmith, and that means I can get out of any place that's locked. So I'm going to go over here and ask this lady, Teacher Winnie Wiggum, interrogate her. Now this one you get to bribe the suspect.
Yeah.
And they usually want a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And you'll see.
But a lot they want at least $1,000, so it's like you're kind of
stop this bony hand here from trying to take it.
Right.
It's like the crypt keeper.
And you kind of wonder, like, who's trying to take the money? That could be anybody. It could be one of the other suspects. And they get kind of giddy when they get the money, so they start jumping up and down to make it harder. Like, and you know, in real life, they would just stand there until they get the money, or at least one in an envelope.
So I got 20 savvy points. Teacher Minnie Williams says, I've seen a short, plump person lurking around the crime scene. Even if they're not involved, I bet they'll know something about who is.
And they have that type of clue a lot in here, so you have to figure out what they mean by that. Make sure it's not double negative.
Right. So we're going to click on her, And we're going to go to hint so you can see how that works. Hint about the teacher's testimony.
Well, that was just a smidget of what's to happen in this game because there's just so much in here. There's lots of steps, there's lots of fun, wasted interrogations, and one part that was not shown was that there's the one they call the accusation part, and that actually comes in towards the end of the game, and that's probably Mom's favorite part.
Yes, and again, if you want us to play a full game and show you how it is, let us know in the comments. We would love to do it because we're going to play it anyway.
Yeah.
So we might as well record it and have fun with you watching and learning about this game.
Right.
So, as you can see, now you know our favorite characters, but you also can see they're all varied and different and just really a lot of fun. This game is fun.
Yes.
And I think for me, for a lot of the games that come up now, they are based in already existing franchises. Some of them are really violent.
Yeah.
Some of them are really not games that evoke joy. And when you want to play a game where you're, taking people out, when you want to play a game where you're doing things like that, it's fine. I've played Halo. I've played Assassin.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed, right?
Yes, thank you. Assassin's Creed. I've played games like that. You've played a couple too. I've played Doom. So I've played Resident Evil. So yes, there's a time for me. Mortal Kombat, that I like those games.
Yeah.
But there are times when I just want to have fun and feel joy and it be wholesome and it just be great. This is one of those games for those times.
Right. And one more thing I definitely got to add is that, as I said, as we were playing, they should have done way more than this. Because they even hinted like they could do a sequel. It's like it was up in the air what they could do for the next mystery after you solve the mystery in this game. And I think it should have been a TV series. It didn't necessarily be a movie because there could be so many mysteries every time. So many characters. They could make everybody a culprit in something and it's different every time. This could have been a TV series or a Disney Plus series and the people who played the game would have just absolutely loved it. And there would be some who didn't play the game will actually have to figure out the mystery.
Yes, definitely. So the most disheartening thing finally is we looked this up on Wikipedia. We tried to find more information. Was there ever a sequel or anything? There's really not much on Wikipedia at all. Not even who created the game, which is really odd.
Yeah.
There's barely any information available. So I don't know if it's available on Amazon. We didn't check. For future games, we'll check on them to see if you can buy them online.
Right.
If you're interested. GameStop used to be the place to go. GameStop got really ridiculous as far as prices. And even in trading in, yes, there are games we've actually traded in or sold, but the return was so little that we just stopped doing it. You decide you want to pass on a game, then we just give it to someone to enjoy instead of giving it to GameStop for $1 and they selling it for $20.
Right.
We'd rather just bless someone with it.
Right. So if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, movie videos, and favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
And let us know if you're looking forward to our next Retro Game Crush game. That was a tongue twister. In the comments below, we will have one for you each Tuesday right now for the next 4 weeks.
Right.
And seeing how you love it and whether you want more of this. And if you do, we've got a lot of games and a lot of systems to share with you.
Yes.
As we mentioned earlier. And thank you so much for joining us for this and watching and supporting us. We really do appreciate you guys. You are awesome. If you haven't already, let us know your channel. And if you want us to subscribe to you as well, let us know in the comments below. And last but not least, feel free to follow us. And we'll also follow you back on Twitter. Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram under the Paws On Animation name.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Master Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.